First, blockchain is not a cryptocurrency. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, and I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of many series of our banking and blockchain program. Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of Banks and Blockchain. It's been excitement, anticipation all over Nigeria since the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, since we're expecting the launch of the e-Naira, which is going to happen tomorrow, the Independence Day of Nigeria, October 1st.
But generally, what do you think the challenges are? Because it's expected that such a technology that carries such power and can give us such a huge solution to a lot of our problems is not mainstream yet, like it's not being used. So what are the challenges that you see to it being mainstream?
Develop myself as an individual, who is relatively new to this space. I'm so glad that he's here with us. So very quickly, when we come back, we are going to be having him on the show. He's going to introduce himself, and we also we are going to ask a few questions about the things that have been bothering our mind about the blockchain ecosystem.
We are a lot more diverse, we are a lot more bigger, we are a lot more creative. Yeah, we love our Silicon Valley people, but
we need to, because we looked at it generally, we've seen what blockchain in itself is awesomely, and I'm glad that people have stayed tuned to listen to this. So on a closing note, I think I wrote something very, very nice. Hello viewers, how are you doing today? My name is Olubunmi Fabanwo, as you know, and yes, we are back again. This is Banks and Blockchain, proudly brought to you by Cnetv. I know that yes, we've been gone for a very long time. However, we just had to re-strategize. We had to go back and see how best, that we can make the program better for you, how much knowledge that we can share, and how well to package this knowledge and give it to you, because of course you know that what we do here is the best. Olubumi and Cnetv, they are synonymous to the best. I'm sure you know that very well. And as in our usual practice, we'll be delving into very salient subject that has to do with blockchain technology. And today, guess what we'll be doing? We'll be talking about trade. I know how much trade means to the African continent, hence the reason why we have chosen to come back with this subject, how trade can affect the economies of African nations, how it can affect even the economy of the world, of course. And like I said, we are back with a blockchain bank. And if you are joining us for the first time, this program is called Banks and Blockchain. It's the best blockchain program anywhere on the continent of Africa. And my name is Olubumi Fabawo. I'm the usual host. And again, this program is proudly brought to you by Cnetv. Now, the reason for this program is just to educate as many Africans as possible about blockchain technology. We speak about everything that has to do with blockchain subjects. We speak about use cases of blockchain. We speak about challenges that may come with blockchain, and we try to see how best possible to be able to utilize this technology to develop every corner and everything that has to do with Africa for Africans. And yes, we are also in Africa. I'm not speaking to you outside of Africa. I'm in Africa and I'm an African, and I'm so proud to have been given the opportunity to be able to bring this kind of program to you, our viewers. Again, I would like to say welcome to Banks and Blockchain. That will be the third time. So yes, when we come back from this very short break, we'll be delving directly into the subject of blockchain and trade, and we'll be seeing how blockchain can revolutionize trade in Africa for African countries and the African economy. Please hold on while we come back to you. Stay tuned. First, blockchain is not a cryptocurrency. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, and I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of many series of our banking and blockchain program. Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of Banks and Blockchain. It's been excitement, anticipation all over Nigeria since the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, since we're expecting the launch of the e-Naira, which is going to happen tomorrow, the Independence Day of Nigeria, October 1st.
But generally, what do you think the challenges are? Because it's expected that such a technology that carries such power and can give us such a huge solution to a lot of our problems is not mainstream yet. Like, it's not being used. So what are the challenges that you see to it being mainstream?
Develop myself as an individual, who is relatively new to this space. I'm so glad that he's here with us. So very quickly, when we come back, we are going to be having him on the show. He's going to introduce himself, and we also interview. We are going to ask a few questions about the things that have been bothering our mind about the blockchain ecosystem.
We are a lot more diverse, we are a lot more bigger, we are a lot more creative. Yeah, we love our Silicon Valley people, but
we need to, because we looked at it generally, we've seen what blockchain in itself is awesomely, and I'm glad that people have stayed tuned to listen to this. So on a closing note, I think I wrote something very nice. Welcome back viewers, this is Banks and Blockchain, proudly brought to you by Cnetv. My name remains Olubumi Fabawo, and just before the short break, we had a very sweet introduction. I hope you didn't miss that. And if you missed that, I'm sure you can always go back to watch us. So yes, we said we'll be speaking about how blockchain is going to change trade in Africa, and we've chosen Africa as always, as the continent, because this is where we are. We are passionate about the African continent, and we believe that the African continent using blockchain technology can leapfrog a lot of all other continents. So let's go directly into the subject for today. We are going to be speaking about trade, and you know, and maybe you do not, there's a certain agreement that was signed about over a year ago, I think 18 months ago, that was in January 2021, That's the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, and it's already in operation. And this is very, very key because you cannot overestimate the importance of intra-African trade, as it will always drive economic development on the continent and even within different countries. Have you ever tried to import anything from an African country before? I promise you it is hell. Have you ever tried to do trade between different African? Have you even tried to transfer funds from one African country to the other? Now let me divert a little. Have you ever checked the amount or the cost of traveling within Africa compared to traveling outside Africa? It tells you that there is a fundamental problem. And yes, we will not be treating everything today. We'll be strictly looking at trade. And as such, hence we spoke about the Continental Free Trade Agreement. And that is a very, very huge step in the right direction for trade in Africa. And I must commend everybody that was involved in that, because I'd always wonder how long that has taken us, for us to be able to do that. Because this particular agreement has a very, very good, it will give us a lot of potential. It has a potential in moving us from where we are currently to where we are supposed to be as a continent. And it's going to help improve trade between African economies and help them, acquire or execute their full trading potential. However, to just sit down on that trade alone, you need to do more. There's more that needs to be done. Yes, we commend us for coming this far. However, we still have to go further because every other continent has literally left us behind. So we have to do double work that anybody has done. And we are capable. We are Africans. We are strong. We are brilliant. We have this inside of us. And we just think that there are different additional innovative solutions that can help us to address all these challenges and all these long-standing problems that we are already facing in terms of trade. And guess which one we are going to be speaking about today? Blockchain, of course. Yes, blockchain is simply a secure peer-to-peer system that records transactions, that record data, and makes it, it does this on an electronic ledger. I'm sure a lot of us know what a ledger is. If you do not understand what blockchain is, please, you have to go back to our previous episodes because we've done ABC of blockchain technology. We've broken down blockchain into the simplest form. And like I would always say, we speak about blockchain technology we are speaking to our 80-year-old grandmother or our 11-year-old niece. So we break it down into the simplest of forms. Yes, going back to blockchain technology, we've already said that this is an electronic ledger that records transactions, that records data, and it is transparent and decentralized. That's what differentiates it from any kind of ledger that you may have. And it is also fraud-proof. It has a fraud-proof structure, and this particular technology is beginning to be considered as one that is very, very viable and scalable in emerging markets such as we have on the African continent. Now, let's begin to look at how blockchain technology can affect trade, in Africa. First of all, let's see how some countries like Ghana and I think South Africa have recently launched a regulatory sandbox. And of course, Nigeria too. We are doing pretty well. We are not doing badly in terms of regulation. So Ghana and South Africa, I think maybe a few months ago, launched regulatory sandbox that can allow more people into the blockchain ecosystem. Talk about banks, talk about financial services, industries, companies, talk about different companies from different walks of life. And they've already checked out how to pilot new blockchain-based products for merchant payments, for remittances, and generally for trade. And despite the obvious complexity that blockchain has, it definitely has real-world relevance, and it can help improve trade facilitation. It can help us with that. And these are some of the things we are going to break this down into different arms and see exactly how this can happen. And as blockchain continues to make inroads into different markets, into different global supply chains, into government, into companies, and we have a chance to accelerate the adoption and to reap the benefits of lower costs. That's in terms of transactions, efficient delivery. We are going to improve our exports, and definitely it's going to improve our inclusive growth. And we've outlined 4 ways that blockchain can boost trade and improve trade within different African markets. But I would like to go on a quick water break because I think I'm really, really on a roll right now. And when I come back, I'm going to be telling you about the 4 ways which we believe that blockchain can improve or boost the trade flows within African markets. Please stay tuned. First, blockchain is not a cryptocurrency. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, and I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of many series of our banking and blockchain program. Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of Banks and Blockchain. It's been excitement, anticipation all over Nigeria since the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, since we're expecting the launch of the e-Naira, which is going to happen tomorrow, the Independence Day of Nigeria, October 1st.
But generally, what do you think the challenges are? Because it's expected that such a technology that carries such power and can give us such a huge solution to a lot of our problems is not mainstream yet. Like, it's not being used. So what are the challenges that you see to it being mainstream?
Develop myself as an individual, who is relatively new to this space. I'm so glad that he's here with us. So very quickly, when we come back, we are going to be having him on the show. He's going to introduce himself, and we also we are going to ask a few questions about the things that have been bothering our mind about the blockchain ecosystem.
We are a lot more diverse, we are a lot more bigger, we are a lot more creative. Yeah, we love our Silicon Valley people, but
we need to, because we looked at it generally, we've seen what blockchain in itself is awesomely, and I'm glad that people have stayed tuned to listen to this. So on a closing note, I think I wrote something very, very nice. Welcome back, my people. This is Banks and Blockchain, and yes, we are discussing about how trade can be improved by blockchain technology, and we've already said that we are going to speak on 4 different ways that blockchain can help improve. And the first, and I think that the most salient one, is custom clearance. You have to understand that, man, it's not just Africa, maybe, but I think that all over the world, you are just scared to import anything because you don't know how much documentation is involved in, clearing things. And different countries have their procedures, despite the fact that we have the African, now coming to Africa, we have the African Continental Trade Agreement, but still you can't take out the fact that there is need for different countries to have, their own custom clearance procedures and all of that. And these things involve hundreds of thousands of documentation, information exchange, different supply chain actors, people just going helter-skelter, checking for this, checking for that. I don't know. I think I remember I tried to bring in something from, was it Ghana or... Yeah, I think it was Ghana, and it was so exhausting because information gets lost in one place. Now you have to start over and speak with another person. Now this person is going to, it's just so stressful. And if you look at this prevents a lot of people from getting into the ecosystem. So people like SMEs, just very small businesses that are trying to do very, very petty trades, they have difficulty trying to get into the ecosystem because they can't afford all of this, the time that is involved in documentation. They can't even afford the amount involved in this. So with blockchain technology, we're able to simplify the process such that it is digitalized and is streamlined. So the documentation is just on the blockchain alone and everybody can see it. It saves you a lot of time. It saves you money. Practically you can reduce data entry requirements alone by 80% with blockchain technology, and this is already being practiced. I'm not giving you fallacy. Yes, this is already in practice. There are different companies that have started testing blockchain technology on logistics, on custom clearance, on documentation that has to do with importation, exportation, and trade, practically. And this allows a bit more, more people to come into the trade market, and this definitely improves the economy. SMEs are very, very key to the improvement of any country or any continent's economy, and these people have been sidelined because of this particular challenge. So bringing in blockchain technology, yes, at first you may say that the infrastructure can be a bit expensive than one you have now, but it's giving you value. You are getting value. You are increasing you are reducing the turnaround time for trade. You are increasing the transparency. Everybody that is involved in a particular trade knows exactly what is happening on the trade. It opens it up. It decentralizes the whole transactional journey, the whole transactional ring, and everything. The cycle is decentralized and is more transparent, allowing more people to come into the ecosystem. And this is exactly what blockchain brings to every system, every sector that it has been tried on, every use use case that you look at of blockchain technology, it takes out the middleman, it takes out complexities, it takes out opaqueness and corruption. Yes, that's very, very key in all of it. So by the time everything is transparent, everybody sees what is going on. Every documentation is already submitted ahead of time by whoever is involved. Then you know exactly what to put on the platform. You know exactly what to bring at every point in time. You do not have to be confused. It just reduces turnaround time, and like I said before, even in terms of expense, it reduces the amount that you spend on irrelevant things and doing different things I do not want to mention, of course. So we can see that applying blockchain technology to custom clearances, to anything that has to do with customs or documentation for importation and trade, it practically makes it simpler. It makes it more transparent. Number two, which is another very, 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 very important part of trade all over the world and also in Africa, is traceability. Now imagine that you are trying to bring maybe a good from South Africa, and you're in Nigeria. Trust me, I know that process is, I don't know the people, do I have an experience? I don't think I have an experience with people that do that, but I know how crazy that can be. I remember that one of our guests on the show was speaking about bringing in, I think it was plantain, something as small or as very, very basic as plantain food. That's food from, I think, Kenya. There was a lot of plantain in Kenya, and of course South Africa was, I think it was between Kenya and South Africa, or maybe an East African country and South Africa, and they were trying to bring it into South Africa because it was so scarce and people were craving it, and it was expensive, supply was lower and demand was high. However, you had so much supply in this particular African country, but because we could not even understand how to trace the goods down, we just decided to leave it. I mean, it just got wasted. And that is part of the things. Wastage is part of the very, very big issues that needs to be tackled in terms of trade within Africa. That is just a very, very simple example or an instance. Now think about traceability, how blockchain can help to be able to help us to improve the standards of quality control, compliance, and even the current methods of tracing our supplies, our goods, and the whole entire supply chain system. I mean, there's a lack of standardization. Let's not even mince words. And the system is so opaque, you know, and it's susceptible to interference and fraud, because by the time you have such a system that is not standard, I mean, does not have any certain standard, and it's so opaque, I mean, corruption begins to trickle in. And you know, we've seen that blockchain has shown a great promise, like I said earlier, in terms of making everything transparent to be able to overcome this type of obstacles. So with blockchain technology, we've seen that you can trace exactly, you can know exactly where your goods are, because everything is open. It's an open source system by nature, and it allows different companies or different parties to be able to assign and verify different certifications easily. And this definitely facilitates audits of data within the system. You are able to understand where everything is at every point in time, and we cannot even overestimate what this can do for trade alone. So let's go to the next one very quickly, because we don't have so much time. I think I've taken too much of your time. So the next one we'll be speaking about is e-payments and trade finance. For everyone's sake, everything that we are doing, everything that we are talking about has to definitely do with finance, and looking at how our financial system now. Oh no, wait, we launched PAPS of recent. That's the payment system for the trade agreements, which I believe is going to do a lot for us. However, to be able to improve on this, I believe that we can include blockchain technology to be able to help with payments and in terms of financing. This doesn't only have to do with it doesn't have to do with credit transaction. I mean, only debits from one side. It could also have to do with credit finance. You know, we can finance different trades within the ecosystem, especially for SMEs. I keep mentioning SMEs because I think that they are very, very key to the economy of Africa. Blockchain technology, of course, the first and most popular use case of blockchain technology is cryptocurrency. And I'm not advocating that we should include cryptocurrency for trade. However, we can improve our trade system and e-payment system with the help of blockchain technology. Now, what blockchain brings into this is that it helps to facilitate payments. So I know that there have been instances where banks have used blockchain technology, even within Africa, for intercontinental transactions. That's cross-border transactions, and this can be applied even within Africa too. I mean, right now, if you want to move money from Nigeria to, say, Ghana to Kenya, it is extremely, allow me to use the word, crazy. I mean, it's almost impossible to be able to do this. But then by the time you include blockchain technology as a means for payment, payment is faster, is more transparent, and I mean, it's cheaper. I know that payment gets cheaper with the use of blockchain technology by at least 90 to 80%. That is because you are taking out any middleman, you are taking out any interrelated parties that is settling transactions. So blockchain is basically, I mean, it's a ledger. So it's just like doing, I'm sure you do an account transfer. So when you're moving money from point A to point B, or from country A to country B, it's just like you're doing an own account transfer, and everything is transparent. So you can easily audit the payments, you can easily audit the data, you can audit the financing, you can audit the trade entirely without any hassle. So this helps you both ways. I mean, in so many ways, it helps you with the payment process, it helps you with audit too. So you are clear and you are moving so fast with it, and everything is cheaper, is more transparent. Yet again, so I know that, or I'm convinced that including blockchain technology in this part of the whole trade system or the whole trade cycle helps to improve it. And I know finance is very, very key in it. So lastly, we'll be speaking about supply chains. Speaking about improving or including blockchain in supply chain is one of the most salient parts of the blockchain ecosystem, or one of the biggest advantages of the blockchain ecosystem. To give an example, I know that there are certain logistic companies right now that have started utilizing blockchain technology in moving goods from point A to point B, in monitoring and moving goods from here to there. So just imagine that we're able to include blockchain in the supply chains of everything that we are trying to do. It helps you to improve delivery of service. I think I've spoken too much about goods and tangibles. Even services, it helps you to be able to deliver services right in time and right on point, which are very, 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 very key things. We do not have so much time to be able to go further on this subject. I know subsequently we'll be able to bring on experts that are even members of that know about the Africa Trade Agreement, and see how we can help, to build more conversations around using, imputing or applying blockchain technology to help improve this system that we have greatly and commendably put on ground to be able to improve trade, within African countries. My dream is to be able to see that there is no border control in terms of trade within African countries. And by border control, I don't mean that there's no customs or anything that stops it. I mean that there is no hindrance. I mean, there are no hindrances when it comes to the usefulness, or how will I put it, the ease of trade within different African countries, which is very, very key for us to be able to improve our continent. We can't just continue to sit and say, identify our problems. We have to start providing solution. And this trade agreement is one solution that is great and is going to help us a whole lot. So let's bring in innovation. Let's bring in technology like blockchain technology to be able to improve and push us from where we are now to where we want to be. Yes, that will be closing it today on this Banks and Blockchain episode. My name remains Olubunmi Fabanwo, and you can follow us on all our socials. We have Cnetv on LinkedIn. That's Coin News Extra. We have Cnetv on YouTube. I'm sure you're watching via YouTube. We also have an app. That's the biggest part of all of this business that we are doing right now. So download the app so that you can watch us, you can watch previous episodes, you can check out the previous episodes. You can also follow me on my socials. My name is Olubunmi Fabanwo, especially on LinkedIn. I think that's my favorite place to be. So you can follow me, Olubunmi Fabanwo, on LinkedIn. From there, you can see my Instagram. From there, you can see my Facebook, and we can always relate online and offline. When we come back again next week for the next episode of Banks and Blockchain, I hope that you remain a blockchain advocate wherever you go to. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful day and a beautiful weekend. Bye. blockchain is not a cryptocurrency. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, and I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of many series of our banking and blockchain program. Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of Banks and Blockchain. It's been excitement, anticipation all over Nigeria since the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, since we're expecting the launch of the e-Naira, which is going to happen tomorrow, the Independence Day of Nigeria, October 1st.
But generally, what do you think the challenges are? Because it's expected that such a technology that carries such power and can give us such a huge solution to a lot of our problems is not mainstream yet. Like, it's not being used. So what are the challenges that you see to it being mainstream?
Develop myself as an individual, who is relatively new to this space. I'm so glad that he's here with us. So very quickly, when we come back, we are going to be having him on the show. He's going to introduce himself, and we also interview. We are going to ask a few questions about the things that have been bothering our mind about the blockchain ecosystem.
We are a lot more diverse, we are a lot more bigger, we are a lot more creative. Yeah, we love our Silicon Valley people, but
we need to, because we looked at it generally, we've seen what blockchain in itself is awesomely, and I'm glad that people have stayed tuned to listen to this. So on a closing note, I think I wrote something very, very nice.